If you can get with them and get appointments, we're going to have some really good ones. Justine is the favorite. And also we have where's Tony? Is Tony here? Tony is the animal psychic who is going to be talking on tomorrow, on Saturday, or is it on Sunday? Saturday, and she does, she gets into the minds of the animals. And she does animal readings, and also she can talk to your deceased pets. Especially if you have pictures of them, you can, so she's going to be doing readings also. And see, who else? We've got several others, I think. Carol Pate's going to be here. She's not here yet. She's the one who is the psychic detective. And she works on about 500 murder cases a year. And she also does missing people. She'll be here. I think she's not here yet, but she may do private readings. I'm not sure. But we got a lot of very interesting people. And if you can get with them and get your names in before they get totally booked, they will have private readings. Okay. Now, our next speaker, one of my favorite ladies. This is Justine Alessi. And I guess she's been speaking here ever since we started this conference. And of course, we went on a cruise, was
December.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. First part of December.
Where she was teaching her method. Now, she's a tarot reader, but not just a tarot reader. This is a master of her craft. She has really excels in what she does. And the reason I published her book, and it's this one, The Rebirth of the Oracle, because she found a way to take the ordinary, we use the weight deck. If you're tarot readers, you know the weight deck is the most common deck. It's the one we use in her book. But she found a way to take the definitions of the cards and bring them into the modern world, because most of the definitions go back hundreds of years, referring to ancient times. They don't refer to now. So she's found a way to relate it to people now. And it's very clear and very exact. And that's what we were doing on the cruise. She was giving a course in teaching people her method. And we've done a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, we have.
And I will tell you, every year she does a reading for me, and is highly accurate. I feel she's a lot more psychic than she says she is, because to me, the cards are just a tool. And she has them there, but actually she's picking up a lot more. But this woman is one of my favorites. So her book is The Rebirth of the Oracle, and I consider her an entertainer, too.
Thanks.
So I'm hoping you're going to work the audience.
I'm going to do them for you.
Okay.
She asks me every year.
Okay, Justine Alessi.
Hi.
Okay.
Thank you. Huh?
You don't need this.
No, I don't need it. No, you're good. Okay. I don't need this then. This works, right?
You don't need that.
No, okay.
You've got that. You're wired for that.
Okay. I know a lot of you. I've seen you before. Thank you for coming to see me. I really appreciate it. Where do I begin? Tarot. I love tarot. I was a librarian. I'll do a little brief for my whole life. And there were quite a shortage of tarot books. And I got interested in them because one of these kids, I'm a bleeding heart, and this kid used to come into the library, and he didn't have shoes, so I bought him a pair of shoes. So a few months later, he came in and he dropped a deck of cards on my desk, and he said, "You can do these." Well, I'd never seen tarot cards. I didn't know anything about them in my whole life. I looked at them. I got them. I know them. I don't know why I know them, but I know them. And they're like an old friend to me. And when I look at them, they speak. It's, you hear all these things people say, and you think, nah, until it's you. And it's true. There's nothing that I don't understand about them. They're like old friends. What I've been able to do over all the years that I've been a reader, I've been doing readings now for over 20 years, and I don't advertise, I don't do anything like that. I just have a strictly word-of-mouth business, and it's only because I'm in my house and I don't want anybody crazy or, off the wall to show up. So they'll call me and they'll say, "Could you do a reading for me?" And I'll say, "Well, who referred you to me?" And they'll say, "So-and-so." I say, "Okay," and I'll do a reading. Or else they'll say, "Well, I heard about you and I read your book," and I say, "No, I'm sorry," because I don't know them. But even at that, I've managed to build quite a business because it's just so accurate. It isn't me. I'm the interpreter. It's the cards. And I've found out not just through experience, but through a lot of visions and dreams. And, I never use the word psychic about myself because I don't like the word because it doesn't feel like me. Intuitive, yeah, I'm intuitive. Everybody's intuitive. So over all the years, I would get different messages, and I learned what the tarot was about from somewhere inside myself. And what I realized is that we know our life, we choose our death, if you believe in reincarnation. As far back as they can trace the tarot, it came from the Egyptians, probably in the 12th century. They're not real sure. Although I was just at a symposium with the Da Vinci Code people a couple years ago who said it was invented to embrace the Grailist heresy, that they call it a heresy, that Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene. So everybody's got their own belief system about the tarot. I'm going to go back to the Egyptian because I know far too much when I read cards for it to simply be about the Grailist theory. But anyway, about the 12th century, the priests and priestess used them. And they were symbols. Now they've evolved, different artists have evolved them over the centuries. But they were symbols that speak to the psyche, is what they do. And you handling those, they believe that your solar plexus was the location of all your knowledge of this lifetime, your past lifetimes, and what you were going to do in this lifetime. And some people get confused in their journey. What tarot is for, it's not to foretell your future. That's not what it's for. It's to enlighten you on your journey. Because people come to crossroads many times in their lives and they're not sure what to do. As a reader, I don't say, do this, do that. I say, you have this choice and that choice. If you do this, then this. If you do that, then that. You choose. As a reader, you have a lot of power. I tell that to my students. I say, you've got a lot of power when you're a reader. You can tell people anything you want to tell them, and therefore you have a huge amount of responsibility. And you can't tell people things to gratify yourself. That's not what it's about. It's about the person. You adjust yourself to the person for whom you are reading, and you listen to what the cards are telling you. Because what the Egyptians thought that the knowledge was here, it was tempered by the heart chakra. It came through your hand. You see the shape of the heart here? And as people were handling the symbols, they were getting information from their own subconscious. And then as a reader, you're just an interpreter. So it would be like if you gave me a paper that was written in Spanish and I knew how to translate Spanish. It's just translation is all that it is. And, when you learn how to do it and do it well, which is what my goal is to take away the myth. It's to take away that scary charlatan gypsy image, which does not belong with the tarot. The tarot was for the high spiritual, for the priestesses and the priests. And now, of course, we don't have priests and priestesses, but we do have many readers. I am certainly at odds with readers who charge people too much money, with people who try to trap people into do this, buy more, I'll sell you this rock and your life will change. And, if you ever go for a tarot reading, in fact, if somebody tries to ever sell you more than the reading, get up and walk away, because they're not for real. As a reader, you're here to help people. You're not here to, of course, you have to make a living. The world makes a living, but you're not here to technically just take. That's not what you're for. You're here because you have a gift. There's a lot of people in this audience who can read cards, because I can look at people and know who can read them. And there's quite a few of you. And I don't know if you know that you have the gift or not, but I know if you have it. One of the things that I did do with Rebirth of the Oracle is over the years, I interviewed approximately 10,000 people, doing readings for people. People would come to my house or to my work, or if they knew me, and I started to notice an archetypical pattern was formed in the court cards of the tarot, which regular cards came from tarot cards. So, of course, there's the king, the queen, the knight, which is the jack, and then there's a child in each suit. So there's 16 court cards. I began to notice that people fell into these categories as archetypical categories. And I don't know how I knew it. I just knew it. And it's like Dolores said, it just happened. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't start out, I was in Catholic school in the 1950s, and, I was like, this wasn't what I planned to be, but I am. So as I started to take notes and notice, down to like things that were like the physical body would go a certain way, and the emotional self, and the way people handled money, and the careers that they chose, and different things like that, all fell into archetypical categories. And the Queen of Cups is the dedication in my book. Who is the Queen of Hearts? She's the one who can read the cards. Not that other people can't read them, but the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Hearts, she believes in magic. Thus, it's easiest for her to read them. And the Queen of Wands is, the Queen of Cups comes from the heart of God, as does the King of Cups. Cup people come from the heart of God. These are the people who are the emotional people. They feel what you feel. Then we have the Wand people. They come from the hands of God. These are the healers, the caretakers, the nurturers, the teachers. And many of them, without knowing anything about tarot, choose occupations like that. I get a lot of nurses and teachers and veterinarians and doctors and food service people. All the nurturing sciences belong to the wand energies. Then we have the sword energies, which are the power source of the creator. That doesn't mean, power madness. It means that there has to be people in this world who are leaders, people who take that power and that knowledge and they make changes in the world. They're the strong leader figures. Many of those people are in occupations such as legal field, medical field, because by virtue of their careers, especially the men in these fields, they tend to have an authoritative energy in their work where people need them to lead. And usually when they come home, you don't get the same kind of person. Usually they have enough authority by virtue of their career. They don't have to do that at home. But a lot of the men in the sword energies are very powerful men. And then, of course, we have the Pentacle people who are the creative intellect. So the Pentacles in regular deck are diamonds. So we could the Queen of Diamonds, the King of Diamonds, the Jack of Diamonds. We have, and they come from the creative intellect. These are the people that we get a lot of artists and people with numbers, people that want, they're kind of a mixture of magic and logic. Get a lot of accountants and architects and engineers and things like that, because these people like to see life in order. Well, if you put all four of these archetypes together, you have the complete God or creator or what you believe in. And we need all the types. When I started Rebirth of the Oracle, it was only going to be about the archetypes. And then Dolores told me to add the rest because I found that some of the meanings, as I searched the tarot books, and as a librarian, I had access to order whatever I wanted. Well, there wasn't very much out there. And what there was, it didn't make any sense to me. Because it would, like, pick a card, the Five of Swords, which is a card of internal conflict. They said civil war. Well, it doesn't matter to us. Civil war is not in our life. It doesn't matter, and it matters, but it doesn't matter to us today, at least at this point in our life. There are many things that were not invented in the 12th century. A lot of medical things and just technological things. Well, we had to have a card for them. How are somebody? I'll be. Well, you're going to meet. Somebody wants to know the 3 top questions in the tarot. Will I ever have love? Will I ever have money? Will I ever lose weight? Top 3. So that's the truth. Isn't that funny? But the love one, it's nice to send the gypsy reader, you're going to meet tall, dark, and handsome. That's not, no. With tarot, it is so specific that it will tell you the archetype of the person you're going to meet, and I can describe him to you. I can say to you, this is a man who is, I can't describe looks, because in the old days, in the 12th century, the races were very pure, and they identified the cards by races. Like if you were dark-haired, dark-eyed, you would be Pentacle. If you were fair-haired, blue-eyed, you would be Wand, like that. Well, the races are too mixed. It has to be done by archetypical behaviors. It's the only way it can possibly be right. It used to be done by zodiac signs. That can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. So it can only be done by the full scope of the personality. And I say about 80% should apply. Therefore, given that, if you say to me, am I ever going to meet the love of my life? And sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes it is no. And when you're a reader, you can't say yes if the answer is no. You have to be truthful. But you can be kind. It's in the delivery. But a lot of times say, okay, you're going to meet a King of Wands, which is a King of Clubs in a regular deck. I'll describe the archetype of the king to you, and then how will you meet him? Well, I took the card that was the Eight of Wands centuries ago, was arrows of love through the air. It was kind of the Arthurian legend. And I turned that into internet because it makes sense. It made sense. Arrows of love through the air became media, became internet. That's where they meet people. Then I have the cards of like close friendships, the Two of Cups. Two people holding hands or, sharing a cup. Well, that would be direct introduction by a friend. Then I took the card Wands, work, and I would say the Six of Wands, and there would be a few people around that I will say, it'll tell me, you're going to meet this person through a woman at work is going to introduce you to her brother. It'll tell you that specifically if you know what you're looking for. And the more you look at it, the more it tells you, and I don't know it to be wrong. I shouldn't say nothing's 100%. I'm going to give it a full 90%. It's right 90% of the time if you know what you're looking for. And to be very cautious that you do not step on people's toes. You do not tell them what to do. You tell them what is available to them. As a reader, I find that people look up to you a little bit more than they normally would. And you have to, part of my method is to make a good example. When you're a card reader, you don't want to come off with that, I am the gypsy that knows it all stuff. I don't like that. I'm just like everybody else. We all have a gift that just happens to be mine. And people say, well, how do you do that? And I say, well, how do you run that press in your factory? Because I could go in there, I won't have a clue. It's all in what you learn to do. I believe that anybody can read cards. Everybody can read them. Some people better than others. And I can go through this audience and tell you a little bit about yourself in a minute because Dolores wants me to do that. But it's become my trademark thing. But certain people have a feel to them, for instance, that make you think about somebody that makes you feel safe. I use my husband. I've been married for 40 years. He's my King of Wands. And the King of Wands is the good guy. He's the one that makes you feel safe. I've got a couple of them in this audience. There's one right there. What's your name? I can't see that far. Yeah, Richard. He's a King of Wands. And that's a King of Cups. That's a King of Pentacles. Let me see. I'll tell you in a minute. I'm looking around here. You got some wand in you. Yes. Yes, you. No. He's got it, but he's got pentacle in him, or cup in him. He's got spiritual to him. Cup. Pentacle. Remember what I say. Well, he's a wand. We know that. Bill's been a wand. Cup. You're confusing. You got a dual. You're a really strong duality. You're very intelligent, right? I'm talking to you. You're real smart. Yeah, I know you are. Extremely, right? Yeah, I thought so. You've got a lot of like sword pentacle energy, unusual. A lot of wand energy back here. You're a safe guy. Not that the rest of you aren't. Yeah, you are too. Okay, for these men that I chose, the King of Wands is the King of Clubs in a regular deck of cards. He is the safe guy. He's the alpha male. When you're with the King of Wands, you automatically know if you're the woman, you don't have to shovel the snow and you don't have to take out the garbage. They'll do it. However, they're not very good at laundry, but okay. They're the men. They're the ones that, you kind of, it's a throwback. And, as much as the world has evolved, and like, for instance, children, like my children's in their 30s, their age group, we don't have one. That's not how they are anymore. These are more of an older group of men. But yet, we occasionally do have a younger guy who will be a knight, who he's the kind of guy, the one that will do the painting and drive you in the snow and fill your car up with gas and work very hard and be very family-oriented and care, like that everything's right for his children. He's the good guy, the St. Joseph, I call him, of the tarot. And we get lots of King of Wands, my husband, classic King of Wands. Did your wife ever read your cards? He goes, no. He goes, I don't know what she does in there. I just know they love her. And it's the truth. And he comes with me. He didn't come this time, but he comes with me and travels with me and everything. But his interest in metaphysics pretty much borders on the little bit that I'll tell him. He's not real delving into it. That's for the cup people. And there are quite a few cup men in here, as I pointed out. There's like a real depth to the people who are cups. You're a power source guy right here. You're the only King of Swords in this room. Swords. You got a lot. What did you do when you worked?
I was cheap. Cooked and bottle washer.
What was he really? Yeah. Yeah, you can see, some people, it's not that everybody isn't intelligent, of course they are, but there's some people, they come off, he comes off to me like somebody who thought something up or created something that made a difference. It's like a power source energy comes from you.
The only thing that I've ever created was that I went out and saw who and what I am.
And that's power. That's power.
I feel like I have arrived
yes.
with a satisfactory answer to myself.
And confidence in the self. That's part of the sword energies. We don't get a lot of swords into metaphysics. Not that they're not into them. They're usually so busy doing their thing that you don't find too many of them here. But it's interesting to meet a King of Swords. I met one a couple of years ago when I was in Florida. It was the first one I ever met at a conference, and he felt like you feel. You know what I mean? And I say feel. It's not that you don't have accoutrements. We all have accoutrements of all the kings and queens. Even the men have the women, and the women have the men. There's sort of an energy that comes from people. So anyway, back to that. The wand people. Now, the wand women, there's lots of them in here. You all know who you are. I've picked you all out before. Okay, yeah, here. Well, you got cup. Yeah, here. Sword of Pentacle cup. Wand, no cup. Wand, cup. We know that. Cup. Yeah. You got a lot. You're a little high priestess going on. I think your cup. Yeah, you're up there high. Your wand. I think your pentacle. With a little bit of wand, even a little bit of cup. There's a lot of women in here that have 4 energies, which is kind of a lot because usually I get 1. Your wand, pentacle. Wand, cup, pentacle, cup, wand, cup, wand, cup. Wand, like W-A-N-D. Wand, pentacle. You're very much a perfectionist about some things, but other things it makes you get all nervous, right? That's a pentacle wand. Okay, your cup pentacle. You're a lot of pentacle. Wand. Cup. Wand. Cup. Wand, cup. Wand and cup. You have 2 of them. Well, Wand Harriet, Wand Laurel. She's an enigma. I know her. She goes between wand and cup so much that I don't even know what she is anymore. You're a mix of a pentacle and a cup. Pentacle, wand, cup. I'm going to say wand, cup, wand, cup, wand. Okay. Zora's cup. She's cup. Okay, now whoever I said wand to, listen. Queen of Wands is the Queen of Clubs in a regular deck of cards. She is the earthbound queen. The analogy is a tree. The Queen of Wands is always there. She is always where people need her to be. The tree, she spreads her arms wide over many, many people, and people walk right past her and take her for granted because she's supposed to be there. She's a tree. She's the Queen of Wands. She is the most loved queen in the tarot because her life is spent in the service of other people. The Queen of Wands is the healer, the caretaker, the nurturer, and the teacher. Therefore, occupationally, perfect. Pick one of those. Pick something that where you're doing service because you're going to do it for free if you don't. However, right? A lot of Queen of Wands say to me, I must have sucker written across my forehead. I say, no, you come directly from the hands of God. This is what you signed on to do. The world does not tick without the Queen of Wands in it. It does not move. She's the one that we need. She's the person who makes people, who motivates them, who gets behind them. She has very little thought for herself. Sometimes not enough to the point that it's unhealthy. And as a reader, I try to say, hey, it's your turn a little bit, And when you're a Queen of Wands, it will seem as if, and I can do her real well for you because there's a lot of you in here. I'll do that one. I'll do the whole thing. My book has all of these in it and all the different categories. So if I do the Queen of Wands with health, Queen of Wands don't believe in sickness. They go to work when they're half dead. That's how they are. They just go anyway, right? However, the commonality was huge. 74% of these women suffer from problems with their joints, most often their knees and their fingers. Well, it makes sense. They're always up, they're always doing, and they're always moving around. They get arthritis. That's it. They are the longest-lived queens in the tarot because they don't even believe in sickness. Ironically, many of them choose the medical profession because it's a nurturing profession. Money, she's good with money. Queen of Wands is frugal. Not cheap. She likes to buy things. Who doesn't? Everybody does. But she'll look for the sale. She's not one to splurge. That will be more of the Queen of Pentacles. When she really wants something, she wants it. So she'll get it. But the Queen of Wands, no. And it's more about things that are necessary, but she never overextends herself, and she doesn't trust anybody else with money. I found the majority of Queen of Wands, even if they were married to Donald Trump, would still work. They want something of their own. There's a need to identify, correct? My wand ladies in here? Yeah, it's true, isn't it? When it comes to relationships, they are the most often divorced queens in the tarot, which doesn't mean you have to get a divorce. But the reasons they gave me, and it was amazing to me, 2 reasons. One, I'm sick of being his mother or her mother, depending, because you have people of, every predilection is in there. I'm sick of being the mother. And 2, no matter how much I do, it's never enough. And they leave. They take it for many, many years, or they, live in that atmosphere, but then they finally say, no, I don't want to do that anymore. And they get on with their lives. However, what's kind of funny is sometimes they'll do it again because they're always taking care of somebody. Work, well, I did that. Oh, I know. I had some past life regression. There's a woman I know in Cleveland, her name's Sharon Klinger, and we did some past life work with some of the queens. And the Queen of Wands is often is the white witch or the healer, the person who can come back, take the things of the earth and heal. Well, there's not too many white witches today, but a lot of Queen of Wands are interested in holistic medicine, homeopathic medicine. Many of them enjoy digging in the dirt, planting flowers and gardens, because it puts them in touch with their earth self. And the other thing is every one of them is a good cook. Every one of them. You don't even have to like it. Who likes it? But after 50 years of it, you get sick of it. But they are good cooks. And they're cauldron. Today, we don't have witches with Eye of Newt. But the white witches, the Queen of Wands, they'll make, say, a really good pot of stew, okay? And they're going to have 6 people for dinners. First, they'll make enough for 36, because they always have to overfeed everybody, because that's their cauldron and they're giving comfort. Isn't it true? But they're very good cooks. She's the best medium in the tarot, because the Queen of Wands is a very grounded person. She's earth. And the spirit world, I'm a Queen of Cups, as are many of you that I told you're Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, we're a little bit up here. We're the Queen of Hearts. And we're not real, well, I shouldn't say, no, we're not. We're not real grounded. We have a scattered way of thinking. So, but the mediumship belongs to the wand. Because the spirit world can find them, comes right to them, because they're grounded in the earth. Now, the cup people, like myself and like whoever I pointed out here, their tendency to be more of a, I use the word clairvoyant or, a seer is stronger. And I think it's because cup people believe in magic. Now, the King of Cups has a strong questioning side. Notice I say questioning, not so much automatically spiritual. He will arrive. Some of them will arrive there. But these are men they're the show me men. They want to know why, and they want to know how come. But they're not about power. They're just interested. They're also men who tend to have like a little world inside their own head, and all you King of Cups know who you are. In that little world, and I don't mean like Walter Mitty, nothing like that, but more like they have I can't even describe it because I don't know how to do it, but they live their life, but inside their head is a whole other world. And that world is the world in which they really live. Does that make sense to my King of Cups in here? Yeah, you get it. Yeah, you got it? Yeah. It's hard to know what I mean unless you are it. It's like the Queen of Cups. When the world spins around, most people are in the world, not the Queen of Cups. She's outside watching it. And if she feels like stepping in, she'll step in, and then she'll step out. The world's never about her. It's about everybody else in it when you're a Queen of Cups. Sort of like that with the King. The King of Cups are, they're very hard to understand men. Thus, a lot of them have difficulty in relationships because they won't say how they feel, and yet they feel intensely. So one of the things that they often have to learn is how to express themselves. They also love their toys. Well, the King of Cups, if he's got those toys, they are kept perfectly. You are not playing with them. They are his. And he treasures what he has. He's not a man who is wasteful. He's not a man who is shiftless. He's a hardworking, focused energy. But at the same time, he likes to be left alone. And the cup people know what I mean. It's like, leave me alone. And they're fine with it. Then we have, and the Queen of Cups, now she's the one who can read the tarot. You have a strong cup energy coming from you. Huge, huge. And it goes with the wisdom of the age, too. As we age, I'm almost 60, and I think, well, I know a lot more at 60 than I knew at 40. And that comes with it. But it's also like a feel. And you especially, and I'm choosing you because you're right in front of me and I can really feel it. You're a cup and a sword, which is very beautiful. You're together, I take it. Yeah, you're a beautiful match. You are. You can take each other, right? Because you can dream a little bit and say to him, get over that. We're doing this, Because the Queen of Cups is not known for patience, but she's good about destroying. But oh, she's wand. Yeah, she's wand. Wand, your wand. Yeah, wand. Yeah, I'll tell anybody you've got a lot of cup in you. No, you're pentacle. He's cup. He's cup with some wand in him. Yeah, you're mixed. There's a lot of mix. In fact, the people get into after 40, 50, you get a lot of mix, more so than the other years. Yes. I define that there's like a set of characteristics that belong to each one of these kings, queens, knights, and children. And the set goes from everything from the careers they choose to the way they think to the way they spend money to their sicknesses. It just falls into a category. Cup people are very prone to depression. And I believe it's because, and I am one, and I believe it's because the watchword to the cup people is, I feel what you feel, I see what you cannot see. You're in people's head. You don't mean to be, but you're in it. And when you're in a large room, you start to get bombarded with the energy of other people. It's constant. It's a constant bombardment. And you may not realize what you do, but what you're doing is you're taking it in. So the Queen of Cups and the King, but more the Queen, a lot of Queen of Cups are treated for depression. I'd say fully 43% of them in their lifetime were treated for depression. And the men sometimes tend to use substance abuse. A lot of them will be drink. And I don't mean they have to be alcoholics. Some of them are. Some of them, a fair percentage of them are. it seems a little ironic. The queen's too much of a control freak to go toward alcohol or anything like that, but the men aren't. And they do it to shut off the voice in their head. But as they get older and more spiritual, they begin to realize what that's about, and then they embrace it. Not the alcohol, the fact that they know so much. Because there's the strong depth of knowledge in the cup people. It's huge. It's huge. And a lot of younger ones in particular have a hard time. Young male particularly, it's a tough go. Many queens of cups have had a difficult childhood. A childhood where the parent, and again, look at the age group. My age group, we didn't come from fathers and mothers who were demonstrative. We're talking World War II. So men who are, Queen of Cups generally has a father figure who is emotionally unavailable. It doesn't mean he has to be an abuser or an alcoholic or anything, sometime, but more the emotional unavailability. So the Queen of Cups seeks the husband who makes her feel safe. So we go toward the King of Wands, toward the King of Swords, because they are the men who they're affectionate and they're grounded. King of Cups isn't. He can be once she trains him, but he's just not like that. So it's actually even to the kind of people we're drawn to. And again, I was going back. I'm sorry, I can't see your name here. Is it Irene? Irene. Okay. With Irene, she's, can I ask your age? Is that all right? Okay, God bless you. She's 78. At 78, she is a perfect Queen of Cups. She has gone through an entire lifetime, probably with the same person, or two of them. Okay, but a long time together? Yeah. So she knows him. Wow. Okay. They've been together 40-some years. Anyway, I was 40-some, I was 60-some. Anyway, your energy together is very powerful. I feel it. You complement one another, and you feel at ease in your own skin, as do you. You just do. You can go and do your studying and whatever it is you want to do. You don't get mad. You don't care. You don't care what he does. Go do it, because you'll go do your thing, correct? And you'll probably take on more of the female roles, like you probably do the birthday cards and the Christmas cards, because they don't do that anyway, some of them. Some of them do, but the King of Cups do, but not the Sword Kings. But by the same token, he's there as a rock. If you need him, he's there. And money, very good with money. We're not. Queen of Cups, we'd never get rich. We'd give it all away. But you got to be married to one of those other kind of people, because it's like somebody who has a handle on it, a man who cares about the future. Cup queens do not tend to think about the future. They don't. They live in the present and like, okay, a 401k. I don't have one of those. I should, I guess. Oh, my husband will do it. That's how we are. And it's probably not wise in this day and age. And I do find myself having to adjust some of the things I say now with age groups, because women, like my age and upward, and then it's a different group than women in their like 50s and 40s versus ones who are in their 20s. It's a whole different game. So not all of it. A lot of the accoutrements are the same, but there's a little bit of differences, because now everybody has to work, of course. Queen of Cups in my generation, we hated school. We didn't want to go to school. It was too much trouble. We wanted to get married and get the heck out of the house. Now the younger ones, they go to school. A lot of them are psychologists. A lot of them do jobs where they're giving advice, like counselors, bartenders, hairdressers, people that are one-on-one with other people, because that's part of the cup energy, is to give advice. Then we have Pentacle people, which there's quite a few of them in here. And you're a Pentacle person, and there's one right back there with the butterflies on. Pentacle people, oh honey, you're cup wand all over the place. You got two. Oh yeah, you got both. The Pentacle people are my perfectionists. They like their ducks in a row in life. Not only about themselves, you can tell like their homes. Generally their homes are very, very like attractive. They like things in order. Their towels aren't thrown on top of the hamper. They're hung over the rail. They're neat. They're neat people. And that neatness goes toward their artistic eye, because it offends them to not have things in order. They can drive you nuts with that perfectionism, but if you're one, you've got to get married to one. That's who gets along the best. Pentacle people are artistic, and yet they are also numerical, which kind of is a little odd, at odds, but they are. They like their numbers to line up, but they're also creative. So how does that work? I don't know, but it does work. It's how it works. With Pentacle women, very healthy. They don't do things that are unhealthy. That would be the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. They're the ones, well, I'll eat a whole pie. I don't care. Whatever. But not the Pentacle people. They take care of themselves. And yet, they're not unhealthy, but what was it? 37% of them had difficulty with their reproductive system, which is very ironic because there is no better mother than the Queen of Pentacles. None. Because she has high expectations for herself, thus for her children. I've never seen a Queen of Pentacles who had messed up kids, not once in my life, and I've met hundreds and hundreds of them. They have good kids, right? Yeah, it's true. It's very true. No, I don't know if anybody has them for sale back there or not. I don't sell anything. I just do them. Well, the deck that I recommend is the Universal Weight deck. That's the one that illustrates my book. And that way, if you want to look in it. My book is very easy to understand if you're trying to read cards. I'll tell you what. Julia, Dolores' daughter, she edited it, and she came up with a really brilliant ploy. She put on one side of the page the picture of the card, and then she bullet pointed the highlights, and then the text is on the other side of the page. So if you open the page, you can, if you're trying to learn to read, you can kind of read the bullet points, or you can go through the whole thing. It's up to you, but it's very helpful. And that's really very nice that she did that. It's something that, well, it was a good idea. So if you want to learn to read, that's the deck that's in there that illustrates it. No. She what? You mean Rachel Pollack, maybe? Eileen Conley? I don't know what she is. I don't know any of them. I only know me. All the books I read, I didn't get them. So I was like, this is too hard. So I wanted to make it easy. And there's like a software. In my book, it's a 12th grade reading level. Like, if you've gone to high school, you can read it. It makes it easy because some of the books, I look at them and I'm thinking to myself, who cares? Because it's all this big, long, esoteric stuff. I don't even know what the heck they're talking about. I'm like, whatever. So that's why I made my own. But anyway, back to the fact that I do have a nice mix in this room. Cups and wands will make up, if you are a reader, the majority of the people that are interested. Now, what I find kind of interesting is that there are so few queens of cups. There may be 1 in 2,000 women as a queen of cups, but they draw together. They come together. And it's like they kind of find one another. I think we should have like a secret society. And sword men are the least likely, not that they're not interested, but many of them don't want to let that guard down. But when I get one that does, I know, like I have one here, and I have this one back here. You've got like a lot of high priest energy. Your intelligence it's like pouring at me. What did you do? What do you do for a living? Yeah. Yeah? You were what? Retired. What did you do in the Air Force? Something that was, hard. I know. It's like you have this mind. It's like pentacle, but it has cup. And I'm like, okay, this is a guy who has a mind that's like very mathematical and orderly and very intelligent, but he has a dreamy side and he doesn't have what he wants yet. That's how you feel to me. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, that's a very odd combination. Believe me, pentacle and cup is not normal. So it is. It's a good one. They're all good ones. But anyway, I think I'm running out of my time. Thank you.
One thing, I always wondered how Justine could do this. She said all she does is look in your eyes. And that's how she's able to tell what wands, pentacles, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think that she's more psychic than she thinks she is. puts it all together.
I'm just a people person. You know, you look at people long enough and there's like a feeling you get. Do you get it? I'm not the only one that gets that, right? Yeah. Don't you ever notice like some people you come up against, you just feel that person, right? Yeah, I think so.
But you're not going to get away without my favorite story.
Which one?
The one about the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, Bobby?
Yeah, Bob. And
Okay.
I'm not going to finish it for you, like you don't like the way I ended, but you tell the story of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a lot of good stories. A lot of people have come to me over the years that I've been very impressed because of the things I tell them. And a couple of them. One of them I had was a kid. He was probably about 19 or 20 when I started to read his cards, and he was a construction worker. And he used to ride dirt bikes from the time he was a little kid. And there's a certain setup in the cards, which is the Chariot, and the Ace of Swords, which is recognition and power, and an Ace of Pentacles, which is money, high money, like fame. And he'd keep getting this set. And I'd say, what are you doing? You have fame all around you. He says, how am I going to get famous? I said, I don't know. You have fame all around you. You will be known. And he's hemmed hawing. Well, he rode motocross. Well, probably a good 15 or so years ago, maybe a little longer, they invented it's called extreme sports, which maybe some of you are familiar with. And these guys they flip backwards in the air on dirt bikes and soar through the air and do all these tricks and stuff. Well, he's one of the original. His name's Trevor Vines. He said he'll tell everybody, he goes, I got tired of listening to her complain. He said he put his bike on the back of his truck. He went out to LA, and he's very famous. He's in motocross. And then the other one that Dolores likes so much is I had a young man and his wife who would come and get their cards read. And there's certain phenomena in the tarot, and you start to get to know what they are as you look at them enough. And his was an Ace of Pentacles, which is a really huge money card. And I said to him, you're going to be wealthy. And he goes, how? And I go, I know one thing. It's not luck. It's because you're intelligent, but it's not work. I said, I do not know. I do know that by the time you're 35, you're going to be a millionaire. And at the time, he was like 32 or something, 30, I don't know. So every time he'd come, he'd say the same thing. Finally, they called him to go on is that Regis Philbin? Yeah. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Well, he gets on there because he's very intelligent and gets to the $1 million question. And he said, all I could think about, and at the time he was 34, all I could think about was you telling me I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 35. So I did it. I went for it. And he won it. And the irony of it is that day, his uncle, you know how you have phone a friend or phone somebody, like have somebody to help you? Well, when he did the phone a friend, he called his father-in-law, who happened to have his brother sitting there, who had eaten that day in a Chinese restaurant. And on the restaurant placemat, it said it was the year of the tiger. I don't know, whatever it was. But he knew that, and that was his question. What year is this? And the uncle just happened to be there, knew it. But, well, of course, since then, the money didn't work out too well. They're not married anymore, and the money's all gone, but, he won it. And I have a lot of interesting stories, things that happen to people that they're like, that will never happen to me. I go, yeah, it will, and it happens. I had one, in fact, I have a couple of new ones. One lady would come to me, and she's a sweet little lady, little Queen of Wands, works in a bank. And she always had this creativeness around her. In this invention, and I said it's the Hierophant reversed. Well, that's the card, and it's high creativity and then recognition. I said, you're going to invent something. I said, I don't know what. I said, all I know is that is going to put you on the map. Well, she just got her patent on it a couple of months ago. I guess she hunts, and I guess hunters sit up in trees and what do they call those things? Stands, yeah, and. So she invented this thing that kind of unwraps and it covers you from your neck down if you're sitting. It's battered. It's operated by some kind of chip that creates heat. And you can sit up in the tree stand and hunt all day and not freeze. Can you imagine? And Coleman has offered her a ton of money for the patent, And I think it's amazing. But I can see that kind of stuff. And that's not what you see every day. Most people, you do readings, it's going to be about their husbands and wives and kids and their work and their health and whatever they ask you. But do realize in a card reading, you ask your reader. Card reading, it will tell you exactly the way your life will go if you leave it alone. It will also tell you how to change things. It'll give you opportunity or options plus opportunity. It'll say, try this, then this, then this. If you this, then this. You do not, as a reader, ever tell people what to do, but you can tell them good choices. Anything I can answer? No, I live near Cleveland, Ohio, about an hour outside of Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Anybody? Good? Yes. Dream symbols? I don't. I'm assuming that there are people that do. I have dreamed cards, like the cards that come in my dreams. They say the Egyptians, I don't know, there are so many thoughts or schools of thought on it. I kind of went with the Egyptian one. Oh, and one of the things I did want to say, death and the devil scare so many people. And I always tell people about this. Death and the devil are lost in translation. What happened was during the Renaissance, the cards made their way into Europe, and the French and Italian painters loved to paint the tarot. Well, they saw the Egyptian symbolism and called it death and the devil because society is based on its religion. But the irony of it was that the Egyptians didn't believe in death or the devil. They believed in reincarnation. And it's more of a societal thing. What the death card really is a huge transformation in your life. And with the devil, we have our own devils. It's what we do to ourselves to prevent growth. For most of us, it's anxiety and fear. Anxiety and fear stops more people from doing what they want, becoming what they want to become, than all combination of physical problems combined. Anybody else? Yes. Like, can I tell you, who's going to win, you mean? Probably. I actually have done some politicians, and I find a lot of them are sword people. You have to be a type. And I find politicians and, movie stars are swords because they have that power energy, and you have to have a certain kind of energy to even want to do that. Like, if you would read the Queen of Swords, there's Hillary Clinton. You read the King of Swords, there is John McCain. However, not George Bush. He's a King of Cups.
What is Obama?
Oh, he's a King of Wands.
King of Wands.
But he has enough sword in him to make him powerful.
Oh,
he's got a dad power freak kind of a guy. He'll be all right. King of Cups.
Okay, I think Tony had a question back there. Did you? Or?
The Hangman is stagnation. A lot of people, there's a lot of religious symbolism in the tarot, depending upon the deck. But the Hangman of itself in the soul's journey is the time, we get stuck. And it seems like it's never going to change. And you wait and you wait and you wait. It's a card of stagnation, limbo. And then when it turns around, things start to move again. Because everything in the major arcana is your soul's journey in each mission. And we get to Hangman in many of our journeys, which is, okay, sit and wait. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah, it's a hang up. You're right, exactly. Maybe that's where they got that word. I never thought of it. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. The High Priestess is a very equal distribution of the accoutrements of all four queens. The High Priestess has the intuitiveness and the compassion, or the intuitiveness of the Queen of Cups, the compassion of the Queen of Wands, the creative energy of the Queen of Pentacles, and she also has the boundary setting of the Queen of Swords, which is what most women lack, which is why we don't get a lot of Queen of Swords, because women cannot set boundaries. Yeah, right off the bat, I thought you were High Priestess energy. There's a couple of them in here. Yeah, there's a few of them here. Now, the High Priestess, actually, in the tarot, is the sacred feminine. In the Da Vinci Code, that's Mary Magdalene. That's the equal to God and Goddess. Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, yes. I think think we're out of time. Okay.
You're Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups mixed, remember? I did you last year. I thought, yeah. Wand and Cup. You have Cup and Wand in you. You have compassion and intuition. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're out of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Isn't she wonderful?
Oh, thank you.